Hi, welcome to October Rose Fibre Arts, my hand-dyed yarn business here in the Hunter Valley in New South Wales, Australia. I do a lot of craft work, so my passions are knitting, crocheting and quilting, and I'm also hand dyeing yarn, and I have an online fabric store as well. Okay, let's get into it. Today I'm going to talk about 2.5 finished objects, and then a couple of whips, and then some plans, all to do with my crafting in the next little while that I'm hoping to get done. Okay, my first finished object, and it's something I've been changed that. It is my hydrangea blanket. It is all finished, very squishy. I don't have enough room here to stand up and show you the whole thing, but it is beautiful. I have absolutely enjoyed over the last couple of weeks working on this. I aimed for 2 colour stripes a day, so 2 of these colour stripes a day. Some days I was able to get in and do 6, then others I might have only gotten one done, but I was able to do that, and it is now finished. It was a bit of a long-term whip for me. I started it, I can't remember, either last year or the year before that. I put it away. I find that my bigger projects often get pushed aside for smaller projects, Christmas projects, things like that, but I pulled it out, I put in the effort to finish it, and I cannot be happier. So this one is done in Stylecraft DK, Special DK. It is an Addict 24 pattern. I think it was a crochet along a couple of years ago. I just bought it as a kit to do because I loved the colors. They are just absolutely beautiful. This is the 4th one of Lucy's that I've done. My first one was the Sweet Pea crochet along. I then did a wavy one, and it's very blue. I can't remember the name of it, but it's lovely. And I did the Dahlia blanket as well. I have the kit for the harbour blanket. I've done one for each of my children, and I need to do the harbour one for my last child, who will be 3 in June. So that will be his birthday present. And yeah, this one is all for me. So I will love squishing up under that one. My Dahlia blanket is also, I'm going to be a bit cheeky here and say that one's also one for me, but I quite often use that when guests come over on our spare bed, so that especially in winter time it can get a little bit cold here, so it's a nice one to put on the bed for my guests to squish into. But completed, very, very happy. I don't block my blankets only because they are way too big, and I don't have a space to properly block them. So this one's just for me. So I'm just going to squish under it and cuddle under it come winter time and be very thankful for it. Yeah, so they'll all look nice together on the lounge when we're all cuddled up. But that's number 1 in finished objects for today. All right, next finished object. Now this one is bit of a story. So I did a quilting workshop, a quilt collage workshop last year, and I did one for myself. The kids are very interested in what I'm doing, and I like to try and get them involved. They wanted to make it, well, my son wanted to make a quilt. So he's 6, he was 6 in October, and I said, why don't we try this technique, because it's something really fun. This is it. So again, if you're following me on Instagram, you would have seen it. I posted a picture when it was done because I was just so very happy for him. The cat's been sleeping on it. There's a bit of fur. There's still a bit of threads that need to be cut. But very fun for him. He went through my stash basket. So I have a basket that has all my scraps in it, and he picked out the fabrics. And of course, motorbikes, airplanes, and then we sort of pieced together from that using the steamer seam. We were able to put that on the back of the piece it together, put them on. Some of them were leftovers from when I did my workshop. So the greens were all left over from my workshop, and we were able to put them together to do this gorgeous little quilt. He is thrilled with it. I'm thrilled with it. He's done such a good job. It was a really fun thing to do together. And this will go up in my local quilt show in September, towards the end of September, that's coming around. So we will hang it there, and now I just need my daughter to finish one. So that's my second finish object that I wanted to talk about. My third. Now, this is, I'm not going to say it's a third, it's a half, because it is, and again, if you've been following along on Instagram, this is my colourwork sock that I started for my son. It didn't fit him. So I have ripped back, so this is it. I ripped back the colourwork, cast on a few extra stitches and started again. And I didn't realise how long his foot had gotten. So I had to do quite a long foot, which was fine. It was good. I just had to measure a lot for this. This is done out of my own wool. So he helped me to dye this wool. There's a couple of skeins left available in my shop if you're interested in it. It knits up really lovely. There's lots of little like dark blue and red stripes in there that sort of just go throughout. So it's given this absolutely lovely, he loves it, I love it. I want a pair of socks for myself in this. Really, really fun. I've enjoyed making these. So I just did a 52 stitch cast on for the kids. Originally I'd done 48 stitches. It wasn't enough, and I think even with this one it was quite tight getting it over a little bit tight getting it over his foot. Should relax a little bit when I block it. I haven't blocked this yet. I did a 1x1 rib, just a plain leg. This is just to see if I can get the size right for his foot. Once I get the size right, then I will work on another colourwork sock, because I really do want to do some colourwork socks for him. So 1x1 rib, just plain stitching on the leg. I did the Eye of Partridge heel. I've done it on some other socks before, and I just personally really like it. So, and I love the way that that's come out. That slipping those stitches with those little stripes has really been just given it this beautiful, lovely texture and this beautiful colour throughout there, which is quite nice. Then again, so I did a heel turn and gusset, just because I think they fit a little bit better. I've never done an afterthought heel. I think that's something that I will work on maybe doing later. And I will say I've only started knitting socks at the beginning of last year. I have crocheted a number of pairs of socks, and I quite enjoy crocheting socks. They're fairly quick to work up. But my first sock that I knit was a pattern test, and I jumped right in the deep end. They had cables, which was my first time doing cables as well. Absolutely lovely, and I might bring them on for my next podcast and show you those. But since then I've done a couple of socks. I really enjoy them. They're really fun. What I tend to do, because I am really bad at, if I finish a project, I don't tend to make it again because I've made it. So when I do socks, once I finish a sock, I straight away, and I've got it here, cast on my second sock so that I have to finish it because it is on the needles. Otherwise I would put it off and it would never get done. So finished sock, second one cast on. I'm probably about halfway through the leg on that, and then I'll get into the heel turn and gusset, and then the foot. I always find my second sock goes quicker because on my first sock I mark down how many rows I've done, so there's no measuring or guesswork. It's just get in and do the rows because you can just follow the blueprint that you've done with your first one. I am very good at having scrap bits of paper everywhere that I tally my rows on as I go, and I quite enjoy that. That works really well for me. So a sock and a bit done. He's looking forward to them. They fit. The only thing I'm not happy with, I wouldn't say not happy. It's just this toe is really pointy. I think, and my Kitchener stitching, I kind of mucked up a little bit. I will say I got a bit distracted, and I probably should have not done it when I was doing things with the kids and waited till the next day when I had some free time to do it. But I'd probably not do the last couple of rows just so it had a bit of a wider toe on it there. So I'm not disappointed by it. Disappointed isn't the word that I want to use. It's just, I don't know, very pointy. And I don't think his foot's going to go into that point as well as it needs to. So I'll do that again on this sock. For my next sock that I do for him, I'll try just cutting it off a few rows shorter so it's a little bit wider and see how that goes on his toes. But that's my sock for Jacob on Jacob's wool that he hand dyed with me, which was lots of fun. He's come in to look at me while I'm talking about him. But it's lovely. Absolutely lovely. He's done such a good job there. Okay, while I'm talking about socks, something else that I have one of. So before Christmas started, I knit a shorty sock for myself. I don't know what this wool is. It was in my stash. I just wanted to stash bust it. It was half a ball. This pinky colour I got from a friend of mine who was destashing, and so I grabbed that. And I think this one's a self-striping yarn. I think I got it from Rainbows and Sprinkles a number of years ago, probably 3 or 4 years ago now. Very lovely to knit up. But I just wanted to use up both of the yarns. So what I did, I cast on, I changed the colour for the heel. I then knit until I used up half of this pink yarn. Then I moved on to the toe. Again, my Kitchener stitching, I need to practice that. It isn't great. I've got some little loops there. And then once so I measured, I weighed my yarn until I got to halfway, then I finished it with the other yarn. So it's not changed over for the toe. There's a few rows there. I have a very big foot. Pregnancy made it even bigger, and so I do have to knit quite a lot for me. But yeah, so I will do the second sock after I finish Jacob's other sock. I did a little sneaky cast on the other day, and so I have cast this on. As I said, if it's cast on, I am more likely to finish it. So that will be finished hopefully soon, I want to say, but not likely. I've got a few other things that I need to get done in the meantime. So while I'm talking about socks, that's one I'm doing for myself. Half finished. I've got one done. I will get the other one done this year, and so they will hopefully be in my wardrobe before. And when I was pregnant, so through almost 2.5, 3 years ago, I've started this one. It is a patchwork of the crosses. I love my English paper piecing. It's really good. So for this, you have a honeycomb shape. You do the cross in the middle, you do the corners of that cross, and it's sort of like 4 crosses in together. For mine, I decided to use all Tilda fabrics. It was kind of fun trying to collect them from different places. Went to a few different patchwork shops and was able, in my area, and was able to collect a few, which was really nice. And from there, I worked on that. So you do that block. Then you do these connector blocks. So this is one here. I love the little squares. I just think they are adorable. And this is one of the other connector blocks as well. And then you put them all together into a nice big work of art. This is going to be my focus project, or it has been my focus project since I finished my hydrangea. I am hoping to work on this so this and Jacob's sock up until I go back to work, and then I'll sort of reevaluate how much time I've got to see what I then work on. I would like to do a jumper before winter comes. We are in January. It is still very hot here in Australia, so I've got probably about 4 months before we start getting cold. So I don't know whether I will cast that on or not, or maybe try and keep that for next winter, because I really want to get this finished. My plan is, so as I said earlier, my local patchwork group is having their show in September, and I would really love to do a patchwork of the crosses, so hand sewn, hand quilted, which will be my first big hand quilted quilt. But I would love to be able to do that to hang in the show if I can get it done in September. If I'm not going to get it done, it might just need to be pushed to the next show, but I'm going to try really hard. For this, and I don't know if you'll be able to see, but I've been using the EPP, the Epiflex, and so they're a plastic that you can use. They are quite flexible. It's my first time using those. In the past, what I've done is used paper. So just scrap paper when bills have come in, and cut out different shapes. I've done a number of hexagon quilts in that way, and I've just noticed some of my stitches there are really big. That's okay. So you can just use paper as well, which is a really affordable way if you want to do some quilting and don't want to spend a lot of money on the Epiflex templates. They were a little bit pricey. They're not a necessity, and I'm pretty sure you can find free downloads online to print out this shape to use that. But I wanted to use them in a number of quilts, so I spent that little bit of extra money and bought those because I've got plans to use them again in some other quilts. Eventually, I always find my hand sewing is definitely long-term projects when I start those. They're lovely and I enjoy them, and it's one that's been pushed aside a little bit for Christmas presents, but I've really enjoyed doing this, so I'm happy that I'm going to focus on this. I've booked in a sewing day with one of my friends tomorrow, which I'm really looking forward to, and I plan on taking this, getting a lot of these covered so that when I am back at work, I can just spend time sewing and not have to cover, and then hopefully get that done. I will see. I'm going to see. I think my deadline, in my head, if I can get this done by April, and have it together, so wad it up or have the batting and the back of it all together, I will be able to quilt it. That'll give me about 6 months to quilt it, or maybe 5 months to quilt it. So in my head, that's my deadline. If I can meet that, fantastic. Otherwise, it'll be for the next show, I think. But it'll be fun. I've got another quilty project that I'm working on that's a bit of a secret. It should be done. I've booked it in for quilting because I was like, if I book it in with the quilter, I am more likely to get it finished. So I've booked it in with the quilter, and I will try and get that done. So my fun to put in. Okay, in other plans, so other knitting plans. I've talked about my shorty sock. Here. Okay, so this is my own hand-dyed yarn. So this is a beautiful teal. I think I called this one, looks like hail, because it has that greeny colour that the sky, it's like that tealy green colour that the sky gets here when it's about to hail. And this one is nothing but sunshine, lovely yellow. Very inspired by the weather when I named this collection. I am loving the contrast in this. I think I want to do a pair of socks using these two yarns, and I'm thinking of doing, it's a West Knits pattern. I think it's called the Checkered Socks. It was in his first year of socks book. And I think I might do those if I can get some of these other projects done. So that's another one that I want to do as well. The yarn's just turned out. I'm very happy with how it's turned out. So I'm very keen to get in and knit that. You can see my daughter's put some other of my hand-dyed yarn here as well, which is available on my website. Yeah, she was playing around setting up the space for me. And she's put a whole heap there, which is lots of fun. In other plans, so I am looking forward to, if I can get to the right weather and get some time, I want to do some more dyeing. I've got a few bare skeins of yarn here that just needs colour on it. So I'm going to, if I can get some time, I'll get in and put some colour on that, and hopefully get that done before I go back to work. I go back to work at the beginning of February, so I've only got about another week off. Get some more colour on that, and yeah, it'll be fun. I mean, I'm looking forward to that. It's very exciting. Thanks for sticking around. And if you've enjoyed my first ever podcast, which has been lots of very exciting excitement in my household. My daughter wrote me a script. She was just going crazy for the fact that I was going to put something on YouTube. They love watching things on YouTube. So the fact that Mum was going to put something on YouTube was very exciting for them. Yeah. Let me know what your plans are. Are you working on any whips at the moment? Do you foresee knitting socks in your future, which would be very exciting? I would love to hear about it. If you've watched it, like and subscribe. I always get cranky at my kids when they watch things. They say like and subscribe. I'm like, don't subscribe, but please do on this. And then hopefully I'll be able to get out some more more content on my craft projects. It's definitely my future plans. And we'll see how we go with that. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed today, and thank you. I will link my website below, also my Instagram, so you can find me on Instagram. And yeah, if you're doing some shopping for fabric or hand-dyed yarn, I also have some available at the moment as well. Thanks for sticking around. Enjoy your day.